Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to this lesson. Now I did go ahead and finish out the other poses, as you can see, and also created a camera, which is done by coming to create camera. And if you want to see through your camera, you just go to panels, perspective, and for me it's camera 1. And I have it locked, so let me unlock and uncheck all of these things. That's the grid. And for me, I wanted to place it there. Now you want to activate this film gate because this is showing you what the camera will render. So for me, I just want it to be a little bit there on the side, not fully at the center. Let's see. Because it's like talking to someone off camera there, which is something that you tend to see in a lot of movies. And then once you're done positioning your camera, just lock it with this icon up here, or you can just come to view and say lock camera. And for this view, I'm going to disable nubs curves, and I want you to see the poses. I did manage to space some of the posing.
Seriously, you really cannot stop yourself from lying. Come.
So consider I did finish all the other poses and spaced out the ones that I felt were a little bit too quick. And yeah, so this is again why I emphasize maybe having a second monitor, because for me, I can just tear off a copy of this camera and I'm going to place it on my other monitor. But if you don't have two monitors, what you can do is you can split your view into two, and then this one can be your perspective or your camera, depending on if I don't know what preference you have, but this one can be your camera, and you can work on your perspective here, and your playback can be on this other side so that you can be able to see what you're doing. So yeah, that's just a tip for you, right? So now that we've sometimes I don't know why Maya does that, but now that I've done posing and creating all the other poses, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add moving holds. Now, what are moving holds? By the way, for the last pose, this one, I'm not holding it because it's more of moving. I'm moving in between. So I'm moving in between, so I do not have to hold it. I didn't feel the necessary, like it being necessary for me to hold it. So a moving hold is just basically, it's like an idle, right? It's like, how can I explain? I'm trying to find a better explanation, but it's one of those things that you do subconsciously and you don't know. Like your body is being affected by gravity. So it's not like you're going to stay still like this. This just looks dead or looks like a robot or something. So a moving hold is basically it's the same. You're holding the same pose, but you're moving slightly to give it more life. And as you can see, moving holds are added mostly up on the last frame of the hold. So in this case, like this. So if he's holding his arm, I expect that gravity is working on his body a little bit. So maybe his hips can drop down a little bit. Not so much. It needs to be subtle. Oops, and I think I was on the wrong keyframe there. Wait, wasn't this on the this one wasn't also this was not on the selection set. That's okay. Since it wasn't, I think let's just add it anyway, because let's clear the script editor, click on this, it's going to add everything. And I'm also going to add the hips and the head, instead of having to every time keyframe the hips and the head. Just realized now that it's not there. At least that way I know once I select this, everything is keyframed. So yeah. Now this means I have to go and keyframe every pose again, because again the hips, just realized the hips were not there. So don't worry, it's part of the process. Making mistakes are part of the process. But yeah. Okay, so at this point, right? So maybe I can maybe raise the hip a little bit higher, so that by the time it's getting to this, it's dropping down just slight. It needs to be very subtle. right? That's the point of a moving hold. It needs to be very subtle. Maybe at this point, maybe the arm is like gravity is working on it a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of compression on the arms, but I don't like messing with the arms so much since they're already clipping through the chest. But we can drop this a little bit. We can even drop the shoulders because, again, remember, gravity is affecting, but like gravity is affecting most of the things, right? And is maybe as he moves up, the head is obviously going to move up a little bit slightly, right? And also he's probably going to move this way, maybe move this way because he's falling, so it's gravity, right? As you can see, just those slight movements really add some life into the character, right? And as he moves this way, I do believe his chest will want to move the other way around. So okay, so let's go to the other moving hold pose. In this case, come on. So where's the next one? Now for this one, again, gravity. Remember, gravity is working. It's magic. So the arm will drop down a little bit. It will go inside a little bit. But remember, because this way you're following the animation principle of follow through and overlap, the appendages tend to move last. So as this arm goes inward and like downwards and inwards, this one will raise up and go outwards. And because this is the last thing, this will do the reverse. Just always remember that's how. And you can see it really adds some life onto that arm. Same case for the other side. It's going to drop down and maybe move a little bit inward. I think that's too much. And again, this will do the reverse. And the arm will also do the reverse. So again, the shoulders, I do believe, will have dropped even further because, again, it's gravity. And at this point, his hips have he's probably coming down because he was really raised up. Maybe push him that way. Right? As you can see, he's just swaying a little, but you can see how much life this adds onto the character. Right?
Come on.
Even let's just remove the knob scarf so that you guys can actually see. And in fact, let's even go to our camera view and see what's happening from there.
Come on.
And as you can see, it's really adding, breathing life into the animation, right? Because it's very rarely are you actually standing still. There's just something happening and your eye tends to pick up on that. It's just subconsciously you pick it up. And now, unless someone animates it and it's for someone to animate it the wrong way and not have moving holds, is when you'll notice that there's something off about this motion. So let's go to our perspective and continue. Perspective. I don't know what was that I activated. But again, let's go and find the other pose, which is and again, I feel like he's also kinda going towards this way, which will also again trigger the chest to go this way. And maybe the head will bounce up a little or go down. Seriously. Now, don't worry, there's always in between poses. This is the transition to the next poses. That is something we should do on the next lesson. But for this one, I just want you to work on the moving holds. Seriously. And he's really dropping down because he's like angry and stuff. So his hips are curling. Everything is coming forward because he's like really angry. And again, remember the head will go in the opposite direction. These ones will drop down. This one will go in the opposite direction, and this one will go in the opposite direction. Okay, this one will drop down, this one will go back, and this one will come back. Right, and maybe even swing a little bit. And again, I will believe this will drop down as well. And he will lean on that pose even a little bit, and forward even a little bit more.
Seriously?
So
Seriously? Seriously?
So hopefully you've now understood and like you've gotten the concept as to how to add moving holds. It's really not that difficult. It's just a matter of remembering that gravity is working, and also using the principle of follow through and overlap. If your arm is falling down, then the appendages will always go in the opposite directions because they'll be the last ones to catch up. So I'm going to end this lesson here, and hopefully in the next lesson you will have added moving holds for all your poses, and we can work on the in between frames. So see you in the next lesson.